Hi. So we're doing that whole life class, 101. And the way I like to say it is there are some things you could never read in a book and definitely you couldn't learn in a classroom. And you find out as you live. And I thought I'd share some of mine with you. So think 10 minutes ahead, a lesson I learned from Phil Matthews. If I don't know how television works, okay, but I know how radio works and I understand how YouTube is working, at least for me right now. And it's something Phil always used to say, you've got to be 10 minutes mentally ahead of the audience. If possible, actually 15 minutes ahead. And the thing about that is never opening the microphone and sounding vacuous. And I can authoritatively say this, it's tiring sometimes to listen to radio in Kenya, because you can tell this person has taken my presence as an audience for granted. Okay, let's just start with that. Having an audience is a privilege. And the reason I get irritated is that I can tell you open the microphone and then started thinking. So your train of thought is jumbled. You don't know how to get from one thing to the next. And then you talk about 3 different things in 1 minute and you just irritate me. And by and large, and I'm going to say this knowing I will take some heat for it, but I'm like, this is me, I can take heat, please. I'm made of Kevlar. Minor and I, by and large, we're not lucky. We do the method of radio right. Then we add our personalities. And part of that method is thinking ahead. And thinking ahead allows you to open the microphone and deliver what you have to say properly in one stream, with a beginning and an end and a proper middle. And if Phil had never told me, think 10 minutes ahead, I don't think I'd have had the radio career I had. And I can get back behind the microphone any day because I understand there's a method to the madness. In fact, that's what Phil calls it, the method to the madness. And if you don't get that into your head, no matter what it is you're doing in life, you'll always be a little haphazard. And I dare you, listen to some radio stations today and you hear somebody who starts a conversation here and then they say something that reminds them of something and then they go like that and then they remember something else and then they go this way and then somebody says something else and they're like, oh yeah. So they go this way, they detour. Remember, the end mission is here. So they detour, they're here, and then all of a sudden they remember what it is it was doing, so they go back this way. You're like, really? It's been 30 seconds of rubbish. And then they remember where they were going, so they start that climb again, jig. And by the time they're done, you're like, shut up, you just changed stations. Okay? So think 10 minutes ahead. In fact, Phil used to say it this way. If you come off air after a shift and your head is not tired, you haven't worked. The first time he said that to me, I took so much offense. But I realized that's how it works. Because you're constantly on the move, you literally finish at 10. I remember I used to finish at 10. I'm like, okay, don't touch me, don't talk to me, don't come near me. I just literally need to decompress. But here's the other thing that I know for a fact. I might wake up at the same time I used to when I was on air. My head is a lot lighter. Because even when I was on air, a lot of what it is I needed to do would run through my head all night, because I'm not going to wake up and deliver something for Standard Chartered, for Barclays, for Safaricom, for, I don't know, Bidco, if I haven't thought about how I'm going to say it today. And remember, sometimes you're talking about the same brand for 10 days. If you don't actually think about how you're going to make it new and interesting and yet maintain the message tomorrow, the audiences are going to start thinking it's wallpaper. So biggest lesson I learned from Phil, and I use it in everything, even before I do my YouTube videos. I mean, you can ask Derek and Jal. I'm a one-take wonder. And I'm a one-take wonder because I think it through. Yeah. Think 10 minutes ahead. Subscribe.